Friends, I couldn't be more excited about today's episode. We're going to go over the 8 steps it takes to be successful in the military with your personal paycheck. We're going to start diving deep into that leave-in earning statements, the LES, if you will. But first, we're going to talk about it through the lens of 8 steps. That's it. 8 steps between where you are right now and actually being in control of your military paycheck. And then I promise you at least 3 of these, nobody in your chain of command has ever sat you down and explained these to you. Now, I get this question almost every single week, and I'm going to paraphrase it here. This is what it says. Hey, Weldon, I'm active duty. My spouse and I have no idea how our pay actually works. We've never had a real financial plan, and we don't even know where to start. Can you help? Absolutely. Let's talk about it. I've seen these mistakes time and time again from somebody's first duty station all the way to when they get the DD-214. And these 8 steps, we're going to look at it through the lens of life, wealth, and real estate. What is the life goal? How do we optimize it for success from a wealth perspective? And then we focus on real estate, if that makes sense for the situation. And today, it's clearly going to be very wealth-focused, wealth-heavy. But why? It's because if we take a step back, we all have life goals. And to achieve those goals, we need to have money. If we have money, we have options. You hear me say it all the time. So create this opportunity for yourselves, and that's what we're going to talk about. So I love it. I'm excited about it. And again, know that I was a comptroller. I was responsible for making sure people's pay got handled correctly, both on the military and civilian side. We worked base level budgets too. Now I'm a real estate professional, been buying, selling, renting long-term, short-term rentals throughout our entire career. But the foundation is what we're talking about today. How do you get that budget squared away? How do we know what our options are as military members, the financial options, in order to be able to achieve those larger goals that we're trying to get after? Just know that everything that we talk about, it's just for educational purposes, right? I'm not giving you financial advice. It's more, here are the tools to set you up for success, the things that I would know and understand so that way you can apply it later on. Now, your local comptroller office, they're going to be able to talk about your LES specifically, or you can hire a professional. So if you're watching this and you're thinking that that question sounds like you're not alone. The military, they're going to teach you how to make the best PowerPoint ever. They're going to teach you how to strip and reassemble a weapon. You're going to get cyber training every single year. They will not teach you how to read your own pay stub. But that, again, that's what today is about. This question, it's not just about budgeting. There's so much more behind it. This is about the fact that one day you're going to PCS. One day you're going to separate. One day you're going to retire. One day you're going to want a home of your own. And every single one of these 8 steps is setting you up for that day so that way you are not crushed financially. So let's make sure that you are ready. I don't know if you could tell that I'm excited about it. It's because I'm so passionate about this. But by the end of the video, you're going to understand your military pay better than 90% of the people you serve with. More importantly, though, you're going to have a clear first step after each one of them. No fluff, no generic advice, actual steps for you to take. Okay, step 1, let's finally get to it. And this is to know your LES, your leave and earnings statement. This is the most important financial document that you get every single pay period. And most service members, they glance at the bottom of it and they look at the number and then throw it away. Or worse yet, you don't even do that. You just look at the bank account and then move forward. That's like studying your butt off. You feel confident walking into that midterm or that final, and your score comes back lower than what you expected. You don't just shrug and say, whatever. You put time into it. You're going to want to investigate why you didn't get the answers right. Well, this is the same with your paycheck. You earned it. If something's off or something's missing, you need to spot it and get it corrected. You've earned those dollars. And here's what you actually need to look at. Your base pay. That's the obvious one, of course, but then look at your entitlements. That's your BAH, look at your BAS, and then look at your deductions in there too. What's coming out for SGLI, taxes, for TSP, Thrift Savings Plan, and then look at your leave balance because that actually has a dollar value when you separate. So if you can't explain every line on your LES to your spouse tonight at the dinner table, that is your homework. Get to know it, because everything else that we're about to talk about, that starts right there. And this might seem overwhelming, but at the end of the day, if you want somebody to go over with you, book time on my calendar. In the caption below, you're going to see start.askweldonhobbs.com, and let's talk. I will explain it to you. I want to make sure that you are set up for success, and that way you're not leaving money on the table or getting into something that doesn't make sense. Link, it's in the description below, and I'd love to talk to you about it. All right. Whew. Man, I love this. Let's keep going. But if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I have a whole entire library of more military pay, VA loan, and life wealth real estate information coming your way that is applicable to the military community and veterans, of course. Okay, step 2, this is understand that your pay, it is actually a puzzle. It is not just a normal paycheck that like civilians get, because you get base pay, you get BAH, you get BAS, you get COLA if you're overseas, hazard pay, flight pay, special duty pay. Half of it, it might be tax-free depending on where you're stationed. Here's why this matters. When you go to buy a house one day, a lender, they're going to ask you what you make. And if you say that just your base pay, well, now you're leaving thousands of dollars of purchasing power on the table. But if you don't understand which parts of your pay are actually taxable, which are not, then you can't plan for anything. Not a budget, not a savings goal, not a mortgage qualification, nothing. Because you need to understand this in order to have the whole picture and make it all come together. So I propose that your next step, pull up your LES, add up every single entitlement figure, and figure out what your actual take-home pay is. Not what you think it is, what it actually is. Take command of that LES. Know every single line, so that way when it's off, you know it's off. And you have the argument to go get that money that you have earned. Now, this is actually related to step 3, which is to budget for our military reality, not civilian advice. Every single personal financial book that you're going to read, it's going to say build a budget and stick to it. That is fantastic advice. Except your budget, it actually resets every 2 or 3 years when you PCS. New housing costs, new state taxes or no state taxes, new commute, new childcare costs, new everything. And most budgeting advice, it actually skips the most important part, and that's the order. It's not enough just to track your money. You actually need to know what to do with it first, second, third. And that's why I teach something, don't make fun of me, but it just works, right? We have to have an acronym. It's called MOP. This is the Military Order of Operations. It's like mop gear, minus the extra P, but because it protects you when life gets messy. So Military Order of Operations, there we go. That's what it is, and we're going to stick with it for now. But at the foundation of this, MOP is a zero-based budgeting approach. And what that means is that every single dollar has an assignment before the month starts. So your bills, your groceries, your gas, your debt payoff, your savings, your fund money, all of it. If a dollar doesn't have a purpose, a job, it disappears. You know it. You've watched it happen. But if we record it ahead of time, well, now it has a job. We place it there. MOP tells you what order to build it in. So you're going to build your buffer, your emergency fund. Then you're going to pay off your debts. Then you're going to have your PCS fund because you know that's coming around the corner. Or if you're not PCSing, then you're going to be separating, right? So then you start focusing on that full emergency fund. And if you skip a step or two, get them out of order, it could fall apart. You start exposing yourself to more risk, financial risk, personal risk. And no one wants that. So think of it this way. Zero-based budgeting, that is the engine. MOP is the roadmap. And you need both. The budget without the sequence just keeps you busy. The sequence without the budget, well, that keeps you guessing. Now, I've got a whole other video that walks you through all 8 steps of MOP in detail, and it's the full budgeting system for military life. I'll link it in the description below, okay? It's going to be right below the start.askweldonhobbs.com. And again, you can go there and we can talk through this stuff together. It's free. My goal is to help you make the best decision for your life, your situation. Okay, but for this video, here's your next step. Build a portable budget. Know your fixed costs, your flexible costs, and your PCS costs, and keep them all separate. Because dislocation allowance, which is what you typically get whatever you PCS, that is not always going to cover everything that you need. That move is going to come whether you're ready for it or not. Step 4, this is the emergency fund that actually survives a PCS. So the standard advice is 3 to 6 months of expenses, and that's fine until you PCS, and then suddenly you need a security deposit, you need temporary lodging, gas money for a cross-country drive, and then the car breaks down and whatever cost that is in the middle of Kansas. I've watched military families raid their emergency fund every single move, and then they start over from zero at the next duty station. The fix, though, this is actually called a PCS sinking fund, and you do that on top of your emergency fund. This is a separate account, $50 to $100 a month. When orders drop, that money is ready and your real emergency fund stays untouched. What I'm about to cover next, it's where military families either build real wealth or fall behind for years. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Steps 5 through 8, these are the ones that separate the families who leave the military in a stronger financial position or the ones that start over from scratch. And step 5, kill your debt before it kills your career. I need to be direct about this one. Drive past any military base in America and count the number of car dealerships. They're not there by accident. They know exactly when the E1 or E2, when they show up and they're with a steady paycheck for the first time in their lives. And the next thing you know, they're driving a $60,000 Mustang at a 26% APR. That is lunacy. Here's what nobody's telling you. Excessive debt, that can trigger a review of your security clearance. Your career, your ability to serve, that can be directly impacted by financial irresponsibility. That's not a scare tactic, though. That is a fact. So the first step here is list every debt that you have, every interest rate, every minimum payment. And then look into the Military Lending Act. Go look it up. It'll cap the interest at 36% on most consumer loans for active duty. And if you're paying more than that, you may have protections that you don't even know about. By no means am I advocating for you to take out loans or have the debt. I'm just talking about if you have it currently, this is how we stop the bleeding, how we stop the hemorrhaging. And then we're going to figure out a way to start attacking the debt. But this is a step in that direction. By the way, if you're willing, drop a comment in the comments below. Tell me, what's the one money topic that you wish the military would actually cover in basic training, or heck, any duty station that you're at? I'm building out more content on this all the time, and I want to make sure that I'm hitting what matters to you. Thanks for even considering that again. So, okay, this is moving on to step 6, and this is your TSP. Your TSP, the Thrift Savings Plan, it is a superpower, and you are probably ignoring it. So the Thrift Savings Plan is hands down one of the best retirement investment tools in the country. The expense ratios are a fraction of what civilians pay. And if you're under the blended retirement system, the government actually matches up to 5% of your base pay. That is free money. And here's the move that most people miss, the Roth TSP. You contribute after-tax dollars now, and it grows tax-free. When you're deployed to a combat zone and your income is already tax-free, well, that's the best time to max it out. You're literally paying zero tax going in and zero tax coming out. Boom. That is incredible. I want you to think about this. If you are not currently contributing that 5% to get that match, you are turning down a pay raise. All right, this is step 7, and this is use the financial benefits that nobody told you about. So what are they? Well, the first one is the Service Members Civil Relief Act, the SCRA, as you've probably heard it before, and then the Military Lending Act. These are two of the most powerful financial tools that are out there, protections. And most service members, they've never heard of either one of these. So SCRA, that can cap your pre-service credit interest rates at 6%. Now, hear what I said there. Pre-service, you had to have entered into the service with debt. This can protect you from foreclosure, eviction, and it waives certain fees as well. The Military Lending Act, though, this caps your interest rate on payday loans, auto title loans, and certain credit products at 36%. 36%. That is a lot. I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm here to say that identify the problem and let's fix it and figure out how to move forward. You will never get ahead at 36%. With these programs, there is money sitting on the table that you are entitled to, and nobody is going to knock on your door and tell you to go pick it up. You have to know that it exists. And that last point alone is worth saving this video for. Step 8, build for the day that you transition. And I saved this one for last on purpose because everything that we just covered, the LES, the budget, the emergency fund, the debt, the TSP, the benefits, all of it leads to here. One day, you're going to PCS for the last time. One day, you're going to take off that uniform. And one day, you're going to want a home of your own that you're never going to have to leave if you don't want to. The decisions that you're making right now, they will determine whether that day is exciting or terrifying. Whether you walk into that transition with options or panic. Now, if you've made it this far, here's what I want you to do. Click the link in the description below. Check out the next video. If you already know the questions that you want to ask, book time with me. I am happy to walk you through the LES. If you're looking to buy a home, I will coach you through how to do that and what to look out for so that way you are set up for success. Our intent is to be able to walk alongside you, guide you, coach you, and make sure that you have all the information you need to make the best decisions for you and your situation. The goal is to plan with purpose. I'm Weldon Hobbs, veteran, transition strategist, and I've helped hundreds of military families make their PCS a little smoother. Good decisions, they start with good information, and I'll see you in the next one.